Welcome to the Business Spotlight series. My name is Marcia Erickson. I am your host this afternoon for today's conversation with Kiel Engstrom, the owner of TeamLogic IT here in the Quad Cities. We're going to be talking about his business, his journey to business ownership, some best practices, some learnings that he's had along the way, and give you a sneak peek into what it's really like to be a business owner. So, Kiel, welcome to the show, and thank
Thanks
you
for
for
inviting
being
me.
here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for inviting me. Not something I'm horribly comfortable with talking in front of a camera audience, but excited to do it and introduce people a little to myself and to what TeamLogic IT is here in the Quad Cities, and hopefully somebody can get something out of it.
I love it. I love it. So, staying with that, give us a little background on who you are, how you chose to take this crazy journey of business ownership, and give us just a little bit of background on Team Logic IT.
Yeah, so I'll start TeamLogic IT first. It's a national franchise. It's been operating for 21 years now. Has not operated yet in the Quad Cities. Our location here in Moline is the first one here, but has over 300 locations nationwide. So it's a very large franchise. However, the corporate office doesn't own any of the locations. It's all local ownership. So it's one of those pluses that, as a franchise owner, we know the area. We can, kind of keep that same feel for what the area is, as opposed to, I like to say having some corporate overlord looking out at you and saying, no, you must do it this way, right? So, that's Team Logic is a franchise providing IT support for mid and small businesses. Is the primary reach. Co-managed services are a real big item right now with some of the mid and large size entities. You can do some cost savings farming out some of that work as opposed to doing it
Sure.
yourself. So that's who Team Logic is. Myself, career IT guy, took a little left turn a couple of years ago, but was in the corporate world, all types of environments. Worked as a contractor for the DoD for about a decade. Did a lot of interesting stuff there. Really shaped the security part of my IT career. Did some interesting work in mergers and acquisitions, and then got into some leadership roles in some local businesses here, as well as a large enterprise company for a few years, and really kind of I really kind of burned out on the corporate environment and wanted to do something myself. So I started looking into franchising. I've always kind of had the mindset of find the tools you have available and utilize them the best you can. So, in other words, don't try and reinvent the wheel if it's already out there, right? So, the franchise model spoke to me very, very well. My first step into franchising, I got hooked up with a roofing company. I had some experience with that in my past after high school. My dad and all his friends were in the trades, so I'd help them out with different jobs they were doing. Gave me some experience. The roofing market looks very attractive when you're looking at the prices and the costs. Revenue potential is very high while you can keep costs relatively low. So that was really why I got into that. So that's kind of the left turn out of my career there. And I ended up selling that before I got the doors open on that, though. The company was bought out by a private equity firm, and they wanted to buy all the franchise rights back. So it was kind of one of those. I was the last in to get franchise rights. So they went, well, let's see if you can be the first one out. So came to a deal there. Had kind of an idea on how to start up a business at that point and what you really needed to focus on, and then decided, hey, maybe I'm a little bit comfortable with that now. Let's swing back into IT, utilize my 15 plus years of experience in the industry, and see if we can really do some good in the area and help a lot of people out.
Yeah.
So
Sounds like a great fit. And it seems like I think franchise ownership is a great thing for our listeners to learn more about. There's different models, right? And there's different pros and cons. So it sounds like it gave you some structure and some systems already built, right? But you
yeah,
still get the freedom to customize it and make it what you want.
absolutely. And my journey through the two different franchises were kind of completely different. The roofing franchise was very much a here's the tools that we offer, utilize them. We're just going to get out of the way and you can figure it out kind of deal.
Okay. Yep.
Whereas the IT franchise, TeamLogic, was very hands on in making sure that I was comfortable with their business model and all of their tools that they supply to their business owners, to their franchisees, and really wanted it really felt like more of a um, they'll call it a family environment, but I kind of refer to it as a cohesive business, right? Where everybody's talking, everybody's interacting, and it just flows well together. So yeah, two wildly different experiences with both of those franchises, but I'm glad they led me here.
Yeah. Awesome. I am too. As you look back on your journey, what's been the biggest roadblock or hurdle that you've encountered and or overcome in your journey?
So really, I would say the biggest hurdle for me probably there was an inflection point. It's all the way back to when I started my IT career, but I was very much in the mindset as a younger man, young adult, of finding some place that was comfortable. I wanted to be comfortable. I didn't want to put myself out there, very risk averse. So I did what was easy and what I could just sit there and do nothing. And then I like I said, I hit an inflection point. I was actually doing a retail job, and one of the favorite managers I've ever had in any business or company that I've worked for. Didn't work for him a long time, maybe a year tops, but he really had an impact on me. And he was getting promoted to another store that was opening up, and he asked me to go with. This would have caused me to have to move away from my family and, really commit to, retail as a career. And I thought about it and went, I need to do some introspection and see what I want. And um, in that process, I started evaluating, what I liked, what I could see myself doing. But, I came across the saying, and I'll paraphrase it, it's been used a ton, but um, growth happens when you're uncomfortable. And that hit home because I had always sought out being comfortable and it never really felt like I was growing. And now, no matter which direction I chose, whether I chose to stay in retail, that was going to be uncomfortable because I was moving away from the life that I knew to commit to that. Or if I didn't, I told myself, you have to commit to a path, right? So at there, I committed to going back to school for a minute, a really hot minute. um, but focusing back on IT and technology and trying to get back into that where I did have a level of interest, and that really pushed me in that direction. And ever since then, that's one of my triggers in all the different stops that I've had is when I'm starting to feel comfortable, I can feel myself just kind of going through the motions, and at that point, that trigger flips, and I go, hey, um, let's find something else to get uncomfortable because we gotta keep growing. I'm not one that likes standing still anymore, and it's not a. I don't enjoy being uncomfortable, but I'm growing used to it more and more.
Yeah. I love it when we coach clients, we take them through the stages of learning. Conscious competence, incompetent or unconscious competence. We'll talk about that someday, but you just described it super well. And in fact, I think it's important. You and I got to the opportunity to have a conversation before we started. Why are you here today? Why did you choose to dive in and do a podcast?
Yeah, so I chose to do this because I have never been comfortable with talking about myself and really, talking myself up, giving myself a pat on the back. That's not something that I enjoy doing, that I'm not comfortable doing it. So
Yeah.
this was another step on that. Being a business owner, you have to put yourself out there. You have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. And for me, I don't know if I'm fidgeting a lot, but this is not a comfortable situation for me. But like I said, I think it, taking the chance, getting more comfortable with stuff like this will continue to help me grow, but it may also, offer some insight to some people that may
Yeah.
watch this, and maybe that'll be the thing that hits home for them and helps them flip that switch.
I love that. And you're doing amazing. You're actually very comfortable in front of the mic. So I love it. I love it. That moves us right into, let's talk about marketing and sales, right? Your favorite topic. So let's talk marketing first. What strategies are you using? What's working? What's not working?
So my marketing strategy as a whole is the idea. We just started this company up last year, so we're still new. I'm just trying to blast our name out there as much as we can in as many different avenues as we can. The entire goal of my marketing program is not for somebody to, necessarily get an email from me or get a phone call from me or my staff, or see one of my marketing pieces and immediately go, yes, I have a need, I have to call them. My goal for my marketing program is for when their need pops up, it pops into their head, hey, yeah, I need some IT help. TeamLogic, I remember them. Let me give them a call and see what they can do. Or, you know, everybody, when you need something, you you Google it, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
you Bing it, I guess, if you're using Microsoft. But
Yeah.
you get on, you Google it, and I want them to see that, in the first couple of results, they see that TeamLogic link, and they go, yeah, TeamLogic, I recognize that. Let me go there and see what they can do for me, right? It's all about that brand awareness. Doing a number of different things. Like I said, I do email campaigns, I do cold calling, I do some other digital marketing things. This is going to be a marketing platform for me, right? I do SEO as well, so
Yeah.
that makes sure we're right at the top of the listings there with everybody when they go searching for us. So I'm really trying to branch out. I did some podcast marketing for a little bit,
Yeah.
but I've slowed down on that one, trying some other avenues, but I try and stick with everything for at least 6 months,
Yeah.
because you're not going to get direct results from marketing. If you do, that's great, good for you, but you're probably not going to see any immediate results coming from it, right? It's kind of playing the long
Yeah.
game.
Although you also shared with me last week a
Uh,
pretty cool story that you got a quick turnaround.
my car, right? My wrapped
Mhm.
car. So, yep, I got a call from a local nonprofit in the area that um, she said, yeah, we've been unhappy with our current IT provider for a few months now, and it just hasn't bubbled to the surface for us to really make a decision yet. And I was sitting at a stoplight the other day, and the TeamLogic car pulled up beside me. So I went, oh yeah, we still need to look into that. I took a picture and got back to the office and called you guys. So that was an instance of instant gratification, we'll call
Oh,
it,
I
off of
love it.
wrapping a vehicle. But yeah, you never know where that lead's going to come from.
Yeah, I love that, which is a great segue into your sales process now. So, if someone were to reach out to you, what can they expect? What is your sales process? So, if I refer someone to Kyle, what's that going to look like for them?
Sure. So our sales process, um, I do things probably a little different than our franchisor would like. They have a whole sales program that they have everybody go through. I've kind of tweaked it to one, fit my personality, but to also kind of fit the Quad Cities, right? We're a little different culturally than, the West Coast or the East Coast or anything
Sure.
like that. So what we do, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to try and understand what your business is. So if you're calling in, we're going to have a conversation. I'll introduce myself. I'll introduce TeamLogic, the kind of stuff that we do. But then I'm going to start asking questions, not about what specific devices or, what programs you're using. I'm going to ask about, okay, how is your company running, right? What do you guys do? What do your clients look like? because what we want to do is we want to understand what your business is so we can customize a solution that best fits you. We don't come in with a cookie cutter, hey, you got to pick A, B, or C. It's okay, this is what we see that we think works for your business. You don't necessarily need the top of the line, the bleeding edge technology, right? So we'll have that initial introductory call. We do what we call a discovery, where we come out on site to get eyes on and see what the environment looks like. If you have an office, if you're 100% remote, then that'll just be more of a phone conversation where we're talking technology. But we'll go through that process and kind of put together, what we think is the right solution. And then we'll talk to you about it and see what you think and see where you're at, if it does kind of align with where your business is at. And then we get into the cost, right? So we really want to make sure we have a good understanding of what the business is and how we can best help it before we start throwing prices out there, because we're not cookie cutter. We are truly looking for customized solutions to best fit everyone else's business.
Awesome. So having said that, who is your typical client, ideal client? Where do you shine?
So really, like I said earlier, the small mid-sized market is where we live in, but we don't have a specific vertical right now. We're really across the board where we see that we can help people, and I think that's due to us being able to tailor our solutions to what people need, right? We don't have to come in and say, hey, it just has to be, your traditional business services like CPAs or law firms. We do very well in those areas. We do very well in the medical field where, there are specific regulations and laws that are in place that have to be followed. We have expertise in that, so we can help. But the fact that we do have that flexible style of engagement and solution, allows us to apply our services pretty much across the board.
Okay. What's the smallest client you would serve?
So right now we've got a client that's 4 people.
Okay.
We don't really have a smallest, right? If you've got a need, we're willing to help. Largest, we don't have a largest. Now we've got, some locally here at the moment, I'd say we have some resource limitations in that there's only so many people on staff right now. So if we took on a very large client, we'd have to plus up. Now, one of the benefits of being part of TeamLogic IT is we have a network of 1,800 technicians nationwide that we can tap into. I myself have agreements in place with a number of different locations in the Midwest. I'll call them. I say in the area usually, but the closest is 2.5 hours away. So it's a bit of a drive for them. But we do have agreements in place where if we do need to surge based on need, we can tap into resources from those offices as well, and vice versa, right? They utilize us for certain items when we're a better fit for them. So we do have that ability to surge for larger clients, but we really, right now, I'd say our average is probably in the probably about 20 employees, 20 machines, 1 or 2 locations, but that doesn't mean that's where we have to live, right?
Okay. Awesome. That kind of goes along with, is there anything I didn't know that. So that was really helpful for me. What else? Are there other things? What do you want people to know about TeamLogic IT?
So at TeamLogic IT, we stress customer service. That comes from my background, and I know a lot of people say we stress customer service. My parents raised me as a very service-oriented person. I will always look out to help people, sometimes, at a fault of my own, where I'm putting myself in a tough spot because I'm helping somebody else out. But that's just who I am. One, makes for a horrible salesperson because I'm not going to try and push stuff you don't need. But I'm always trying to help, and my time in retail, my time on the other side of conversations with MSPs in the industry really helped reaffirm that mindset of wanting to provide service to other people because I dealt with a number of different MSPs in my career that it felt like their goal was either just to get me to sign a contract or to get me to allow them to check the box so they could send the invoice. And it felt really impersonal. And, you know, I'm the type of person that likes to have relationships with people. So with all my vendors, with all the account managers, I try and build a relationship with them so I, get a better feel for them and I understand how well we work together because I truly do care about customer service. I have all my technicians go through a customer service course. It's called the Compassionate Geek. I have the book right over here. By
I love that.
I'm gonna give him a little plug here by Don Crawley. It's a great. I think it's blacked out. I think my
Oh, you were there a second ago.
I'll put
Awesome.
it in front of my
Oh,
face.
there
They
it
don't
is. The
get it.
Compassionate Geek. I love it.
The Compassionate Geek. It's a great book, and that's what it's about. It's about you know understanding that empathy works a lot better than just barging in and trying to fix somebody's problem. If you listen and understand and help them understand how you're going to fix it, that goes a long way in getting along and delivering great service.
Oh, I love that. I love that. You have far more soft skills than you think, particularly for a technical guy. I love it. All right, let's jump in. Are you ready for rapid fire? I've got a few rapid
Let's
fire
rapid
questions I
fire.
want to give you.
We'll see how that goes.
Number one, what is the key to success for you?
Wow. The key to success, I would say, it's really about relationships and making sure that our clients feel seen and heard. Like I said, the customer service is so huge for us. I want all of our clients to really think that, we are, an extension of their teams. And I want them to really feel that, right? So when I get that feedback that, hey, my tech did a great job. He talked us through this or that. I mean, that's wonderful for me to hear as an owner, and it really makes me think, hey, we're doing the right thing, right? It goes back to that service mindset. I don't get me wrong, I like money, but compliments do make me feel. I mean, that kind of drives me during the day. So,
Oh, I love that. Awesome. What's one piece of advice for other business owners that you'd give them?
um, one piece of advice is stay flexible. You never know what's going to hit you, right? And as much as we want our businesses to run like a well-oiled machine, um, we we're all human, so things are going to happen, and you have to understand that you're going to have to adapt in certain situations. You may not want to. When I started this TeamLogic business, the week before I started, I came down with pneumonia and was in bed for a week, and then couldn't do more than half days my entire first month that I started. But
Wow.
I found a great technician. He's still with me. He's doing a wonderful job for us. He was set to start, and again, that's part of that. I didn't want to let him down, so I kind of toughed it out probably longer than I should have, and caused things to linger. But we made it work, right? And um, yeah, so don't forget flexibility, right? I think that's huge in today's environment.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. Totally. You gave us one example of a book. Loved that. The Compassionate Geek. What else are you reading or listening to? Podcast, book?
Oh
What are you looking
man,
at right now?
so that right now I've just been so focused on the business part. That's probably the last thing that I've run through is that compassionate geek stuff. But I do like I do more listening to books than I do reading
Mhm.
books. I'm in the car a lot, so I'll dive into podcasts. Sometimes some technical podcasts to hear some of the techie world. Um, I've done a lot of I forget his name now. Lencioni.
Yeah,
Patrick
Patrick
Lencioni.
Lencioni.
I've listened to a number of his books. I enjoy those. I think I've taken some of the stuff that he's set to heart in some of my
Yeah.
business designs. So,
Yeah. Fun fact, I get to go see him in person in May. It's going to
oh,
be in Cedar
that's
Rapids at a conference. So
oh
I'm
fun.
excited.
Yeah.
All right. This is a fun question. So, last rapid fire. If you had some magic dust that you could sprinkle over any piece of your business, what would it be?
It would probably be, man, the sales side of it, because that's my least favorite part of it. But if I could sprinkle some magic dust on something, and anytime you're in an environment where you're selling services to other people, um, you really you don't know when that's going to come in, right? So if I could sprinkle some magic dust on something, I would make that more consistent, where it doesn't necessarily
Yeah.
come in waves. But that's kind of the nature of the beast. When something's working, it'll just wash over you. We're hitting, I think, the crest of a wave right now. We've had a bunch of onboardings to do this last couple months, so it's been great. It's been busy. But yeah, if I could balance that out, I would absolutely do that.
Yeah, that variability. Awesome. I think every business owner probably feels that way.
Mhm.
Awesome. Last question. What is most inspiring to you today?
Most inspiring. I think it just goes back to, you know, having the desire to help people and providing service for people, and hearing those notes from businesses that are saying, "Hey, we appreciate you guys doing this for us," or stepping in a situation that's difficult. We did a recent onboarding that the company had a falling out with their current provider, who just decided one day, "Yeah, we're done dealing with you." We had to kind of pick up the pieces from that and run with it, and getting them to a place where they were comfortable with us, and they were functioning how they were supposed to be, and them being thankful for that. I was thankful for us being able to do that, right? You never know what you're running into in a situation
Yeah.
like that, but that kind of stuff, I think that's what really kind of pushes and drives me to do what I'm doing.
Yeah. I bet you are making an impact in places you didn't even know that you could, right? When you started. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, probably.
Well, this has been a great conversation. I really enjoyed hearing your story, getting to know you more. So, thank you for your time today. For all of you watching, I encourage you to reach out. Kyle, how would people find you?
Yeah, so you can find us on our website. You can just go to teamlogicit.com. It has a location finder, so you can find our specific Moline location from there. But that's the easiest way to find our website. You can give us a call. Our phone number 309-730-1900. That dials straight into us, and we'll talk you through whatever you need.
Awesome. For listeners, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so that you can get notified of new sessions, new podcasts when they drop. Go back and re listen to this one so you can learn from Kyle. Thanks to everyone who joined us today, and a special thank you to Kyle, to you for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Marcia.
All right. Have a great time.
All right.